Hello friends and enemies, welcome to or back to Happy For Now. It's me, Isabel, here with your first Manga Monday of this round of 30 and 30. These will go through the beginning of May. It's April, yes, the beginning of May. I about said March. I was like, that's the wrong month. I'm going to update you today on what I read for the first almost week of 30 and 30 and also all of my March reads and the last little bit of my March haul that was not in that weekly vlog. If you're like curious about the full March haul, I would go watch the vlog. I have it timestamped for books and manga so you can kind of jump back accordingly to your interests, or if you just want to see all of it, it's a fun time. Do recommend. So yeah, we're gonna just immediately dive in and talk about my March reading for manga. I definitely did not read as much as I wanted to, but I knew 30 and 30 was coming up, which kind of kept me I don't want to say that I wait during when 30 and 30 is coming up, but like I definitely try not to read excessively so that I'm really pumped for 30 and 30, so to speak. So stats wise, in March I read 10 volumes for 1,777 pages. Genre wise, I read 3 shoujo, 1 shonen, 2 seinen, 3 joseis, and 1 yuri. So those are the different like age demographics of marketing. Yuri is girls love, in case you're curious. And what I read, we're gonna go through this really quickly. I don't have, over half of these I do not have physicals of anymore because I got traded in, or they were digital. So first up, the first digital I read is Love After World Domination, Volume 2. I really like this. This is about a superhero and a villain who fall in love. They're on opposing teams, and they basically go on dates during battles between their groups, and it's really, really cute. It's very fun. It is digital only, so that is the only downside I will say. I do not see us ever getting a physical release of this because it's just something that basically abruptly ended, but I'm really excited to finish the series sooner than later. Then I read The Dragon King's Imperial Wrath, the bookish Princess of the Rat Kingdom or something like that. The full title's bananas long, but I just call it The Dragon King's Imperial Wrath. I borrowed this from Shay, so this got traded into my K's. I'm gonna say I don't recommend this little trilogy. You can tell it was canceled or cut short for some reason. I feel like this volume 3 was so mid, like it was really disappointing. I gave it 2 stars. That's how much I didn't like it. I rarely rate my manga under a 4, I would say. So if I'm rating it a 2, you know it's bad. But this was a terrible ending. I've unhauled the 2 volumes I owned of it because I was like, I do not want this in my home. I do not want to finish it. I'm done. Like, I am done. It felt so very rushed that I just kind of knew immediately that it wasn't for me. And I think you could just feel how rushed it was, or that the artist was like tired of the story. Something was up in that 3rd volume and final volume that made me immediately nope out of it. Then I read this at the bookstore because I wasn't sure if I wanted it or not, and I'm still iffy on it. It's one that I think I can read on the K Manga app, and I may try it there, and that's Glasses with a Chance of Delinquent Volume 1. This is a cute shoujo. I do love delinquents in my shoujos and in general, but I don't know. I just didn't love this as much as I thought I would. I may eventually pick Volume 1 up and read it in the store as well to make a decision, but for now, it's not for me. It was like a 3. The art was fine, but I think the Volume 1 just didn't pull me in as much as I would have liked it to. Okay, next we have the ones that I do have physicals of in front of me and available. First up, we have Yakuza and His Omega, Raw Desire. This is one that has me tempted to break my no-buy for 30 and 30. And I might. There's 2 things I've read now that have me tempted to break my no-buy. This was really good. I really liked this. This was a steamship title ripped straight from my soul. Something that I very much am here for. I love Omegaverse stuff, and this did it really well. A lot better than others I've tried so far this year and in the last 2 or 3 years manga-wise. This does open very graphically. I do need to let you know that right now. This opens extremely graphic, and it is going to feel like a very intense situation happening, and it is. But we rewind and we go back to explain what's happening. But basically our heroine is going undercover to report on this guy that they think is part of the Yakuza, and her Omega ability is her heat comes on, and it follows them and going through that. It's a very fun time. Very, very fun time. So I enjoyed this immensely. Again, I think it's one that it's not gonna work for everyone, but I'm pumped for Volume 2. It comes out this month in April, and literally I think if I do not break the no-buy on May 1st, I will be at the bookstore buying it. That's how much I liked this. I was like, oh crap. I may break the no-buy challenge of 30 and 30. Then I read Assassin and Cinderella Volume 1. This is a fantastic Volume 1. If you liked Firefly Wedding but want something a little more modern, this could be a great option. He is an assassin. She is undercover as a spy. They get married, basically, and it's their chaos. He a lot like our hero in Firefly Wedding that I'm also really enjoying. He basically just makes a proposal like, let's get married. That way we can not have to turn each other in and have protection. And he's very clingy and it's very fun. Very, very fun. Then I got Current on Outbride, Beauty and the Beasts. This was not a great volume. This has felt like filler immensely. And then that's okay. Like, we've had pretty solid plot for the last 6 volumes, so I feel like for volume 7 to feel like filler is like not terrible, but I'm really intrigued. I want more. I really want more. This is our heroine. She basically gets frozen in time and awoken to mate with 4 or 5 different types of beasts, and it's following them, like trying to romance her and stuff, and it's very interesting. This is definitely not going to work for everybody. Again, it's another thing with like a lot of non-con to it, dubious consent-y stuff. She does come back to life at 17 and then it has aged since. Yeah, right now she's kind of traveling to everyone's home planets, places, lands, whatever, and that's been kind of interesting, but this one just felt, I don't know, weird. Then the last thing I read was Fire in His Fingertips Volume 7. We have gotten like a slew of new releases for this series finally. We were in a drought for a very long time, y'all. And I am thrilled to have 7. I'm thrilled that we're getting more this year. I think it's still ongoing in Japan last I checked, which is wild. This was one of my first smutty mangas and I continue to love it. It definitely has some dubious consent in the early volumes and some things that aren't going to work for people, but are more in line, shall we say, with the way Japan treats women and sex. This is really fun. They're moving in together. We've had some drama with his sister. We're getting resolutions to that. And then we're still getting like enough forward momentum that I'm still invested in this story. Now for the pile of shame, because I hauled some more stuff that was not in the vlog. I'm going to tell you one right now that is not upstairs and I'm not going to get it, but I did go buy Otaku Vampire's Love Bite Volume 3. I bought it the day before, I bought it the Sunday before 30 and 30 started, so like March 30th it was out. It came out on Tuesday, like the 1st. So I went ahead and picked this up because I want to read it during Love of the Night, so I have volumes 2 and 3 to read. And 2 was in my other haul, so there's that. When I say I hauled a little bit more, I wasn't joking. It's fine. It's fine. Basically, there were just a handful of things still lingering on my list that I was like, yeah, no, we should just go ahead and do that. So I also picked up Cheeky Brat Volume 13, which we'll be talking about again in a minute. The Invisible Man and His Soon-to-Be Wife Volume 5. That was a pickup with Otaku Vampire's Love Bite. Then I decided to go ahead and pick up the last 3 volumes for What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. So I have 4, 5, and 6 here. I'm gonna do a manhwa reading week or something here soon where I read a bunch of my manhwas because y'all, I have a pile of them and I do need to read them. So I have a stack of volume 1s to read, so I'll probably do a volume 1 vlog with those. Then I also got Takahashi from the Bike Shop Volume 1. I'm really excited for this. It's gonna be in our volume 1 vlog coming soon. Next, I did pick up the rest of, well, not complete. I think we're up to 9 in Kowloon, but I got 4 more volumes of Kowloon because I realized I'd forgotten. So I got volume 5, 6, they're still wrapped, 7, and 8 of this series to read. I am behind. I'm only on like volume 4 right now. But again, part of this month was like restocking on my backlog a little bit. And then also knowing 30 and 30 was coming, I can read this all quickly. So then I got volumes 1 through 4 of Ice Guy and the Cool Girl. So I got volume 1, 2, 3, 4. All of those I've read. I got 5, right? Yeah, 5, 6, and 7 to read. Peas keeps trying to move the tripod. So that's that for everything else I hauled. So doing okay. All right, y'all. It's time to talk about 30 and 30. So here's my TBR for the month. This is not fully my TBR. Obviously there are things I will read that are not on this list, one of which I did read this week already, but this is my goal, like series list to kind of be current on or finish most of, keyword, most of. If I get sick of it or I decide this list is not working for me, I will pivot. We will have a new list is what I will do. But I have updates because I have done pretty dang good for the beginning of the month on this. Now I did kind of front load the first 4 slots here with books I knew I would be reading because I needed to send them back to Shay. So I will have things to hold up, I will have things I don't have to hold up, and I will talk through everything. But that first row, I read, and then some. And also a lot of this is loaded up for Love in the Night. So, you know, if I cleared this list, And then at the end, I'll tell you like kind of stats on where I'm at, because my 30 and 30 goal this time around is to get current and finish series on my shelf. So I'll have like my current and completed number for you. First up, I read volumes 2 through 5 of Sheep Princess and Wolf's Clothing. This is a fantastic Yuri Orc Girls Love. I loved this. This was super adorable. I borrowed Shay's volumes 3 through 5 because she bought out what they had in stock at my store, and I loved it, and it's actually on my purchase list now. I will be picking these up during triple stamps or things like that to fill out my budget accordingly, but I do want this on my shelf. I love this. So this is the Sheep Princess and her wolf bodyguard, and it follows their romance. It's really cute. She's very obsessed with her and a little pushy at times, but I really just loved their dynamic. It was very, very adorable. Next, I read volumes 1 and 2 of My Secretly Hot Husband. So this was a goal to get when Shay was here. I knew I wanted this series, and she picked up volume 2, so I read my 1 and then I read her volume 2. And I love this manhwa webtoon situation. This I could read probably on one of the apps. I don't know what app it originally was on, but I really enjoyed this and I do recommend it if you are interested. She is betrothed to this guy that wears a mask because his family is cursed, and he thinks he's like covered in boils and all these things, and he's like actually super duper hot, but she can't tell him he's hot. And she keeps like trying to dodge them getting divorced because he thinks that he should divorce her so she can be with someone who's hot. But she's like, no, but I want you. It is an isekai, so she does wake up in a different universe, in a world, you know, she falls into another world. But this is really fun. The whole dynamic here is great, but she also is very like in her own element, helping her husband and their like world conquer things. These were so good. Solid 5-star reads for me. I'm pumped for June's release. Then I read volumes 2 and 3 of Lord Hades' Ruthless Marriage. So I liked this, but I didn't like this. I'm torn right now on if I'm keeping the series or like if I want to get volume 3 to fill out. I borrowed Shay's volume 3, same thing. My store had 1 copy. She got it. She read it while she was here, and then I read it, and it is on its way back to her now. I've shipped her box of books that were left here. This was an interesting setup. I really love the art in this. It's stunning. Volume 2, I'm going to tell you right now, was a slog to get through. These panels, I don't mind a wordy volume, but some pages of this manga are just covered in text, and it almost in a lot of ways slowed down my reading of it. So I definitely am torn on like how I feel about the series. I'm going to think on it if I want to get 3 and have it, or if I'm going to unhaul. But yeah, this is definitely a series I'm unsure of right now. We'll say it at least. I do think it's fun. I think it's worth a read. I think it's an interesting take on the Persephone and Hades story, but the text like almost took away from the art in a weird way because it was like almost too much text. I hope that makes sense. I feel like it makes sense to people who read a lot of manga and graphic formats. But yeah, I liked it, but I also had things about it I didn't like. Also, Volume 3 was like over 300 pages, and I think it really would have benefited from being 4 volumes instead of 3. Then I read 2 volumes of Cheeky Brat. So this is why I said I finished that first row of my TBR. Peas is literally determined to move the tripod, so I'm holding on as much as I can to keep it in place. Cheeky Brat volume 12 and 13 were fantastic. I really enjoyed them. We have finally moved out of high school and into college, and their relationships had some great progression and cute confessions of sorts. I love this series. I think it's very silly at times, but in a way that's like really enjoyable to read. So it works for me. I continue to give these about 4 stars for every volume. So yeah, I'm curious to see how it ends up because I know we're nearing the end. So I'm excited to get there and see what happens fully. I mean, I saw the final volume cover, so I kind of know what's coming, but still. So the last volume I read was digital, so I can hold Miss Peas while I tell you about it, and that is Matcha Made in Heaven Volume 10. Another thing that made me almost want to break my no-buy, because I didn't realize that 11 was already out, but we're resisting. We are resisting. Volume 10 was fantastic. I am obsessed with this series. I am dying, begging for a physical release of this, because I would kill to have it on my shelves. Kill to have it on my shelves. This is my life some days, okay? She just wants to be held like a baby. I should get one of those carriers for her. Anyways, yeah, I loved Volume 10. I'm really, really mad at myself for not realizing Volume 11 already came out, although it did come out on the 1st. So if I hadn't pre-ordered it, it would count against my no-buy no matter what. This follows a girl and a guy. Her family owns a tea farm. He is working the tea farm and running it, and her brother lives there with her niece. And she basically moves home from Tokyo and is on the run from a creepy ex-stalker situation. They fake a relationship, but it goes from there. Like, it continues to be more than a fake relationship. The fake relationship evolves obviously into something real, which is not surprising. And yeah, I'm absolutely, utterly obsessed with it, and I cannot wait to read volume 11. Again, something I will be buying on May 1st. So with my reading right now, I am current on 2 series, so that feels fantastic. I can't count myself current with Matcha Made in Heaven since I don't own volume 11 and that came out and I didn't realize it, but current with 2 series that I've read. I've completed 2 series, so that feels really good. I'm 11 volumes in, which is like 24% to my goal of 45 volumes minimum. Now, it is very likely I'm going to exceed 45, but I'm not really putting a number goal there. I just kind of want to give you all weekly updates and check in, see how I'm doing, versus stressing myself out and trying to read 60 or 90, etc. We're just going to let it all happen however it happens. So there's that. If you are participating in 30 and 30, I want to know how your progress is going so far. How did your first week go? What are you feeling? Like, what kind of genre are you reading in manga right now? Like, what's hitting the spot, or manhwas? If you don't do any of that, you can leave me a cat emoji because I'm getting harassed by peas as usual. This is my life sometimes. So you can leave me a cat emoji down below. I will have links to all the manga and everything I talked about in the video if you want to go watch the other haul. Links to my friend anywhere on the internet, and I will catch y'all in just a few days in my next video. Bye!
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away. This is what we waited